All roads lead to Rome. And by Rome, of course, I mean death. If heart disease were wiped out of existence this very moment, the average lifespan would only increase by about 2 years. That's because aging is a complex phenomenon, and this makes lifespan very difficult to budge. As it turns out, there's more than genetics and diet when it comes to lifespan. There's also epigenetics. As we age, genes become improperly silenced, which makes cells perform incorrectly, and this is a large part of aging. For some time, we have known about the Yamanaka factors, which can be used to turn regular cells into stem cells. While complicated chemical and DNA manipulation can affect these changes in the lab, it turns out we have a simple and cheap alternative we can employ at home: fasting.
Hallelujah! I knew it, boy! I had a strange feeling in the pit of my stomach this morning when I woke up. When I get that amulet and get to the fountain of youth, I'll rule the universe.
Our bodies are designed to have amazing regenerative capabilities, but most of these fizzle out before we even become adults. A personal anecdote I have is that in my teen years I dated a girl who lost a finger as a young child, and it grew back. It was not fully formed, but it was impossible to tell anything was different without looking closely. I was always amazed by this, but I really had no way to explain it, and at the time science didn't have any good way to explain it either. But now we have a greater understanding of stem cells, and if they are turned on inside the body, it can lead to essential immortality. In fact, many animals such as lobsters and jellyfish are functionally immortal. Their regenerative powers are never shut off, they can easily regrow limbs, and unless they get cancer or meet an unfortunate accident, or in the case of lobsters just grow so big they can't molt anymore, they'll just go on and on forever. Which makes sense because aside from special cases, there's never really a brand new cell created in the body. Cells just split off from other cells and have a continuous lineage going all the way back to the dawn of time. Unfortunately, our bodies as a whole do not fare so well. That's because most of these regenerative capabilities are shut off, either by design or by accident. While many are shut off by design in order to stop excessive growth and cancer, others are shut off accidentally over time. This is called epigenetic damage. Thankfully, this can be reversed.
In the book, I talk about what it was like to make a discovery that I think is an extremely important one, if I'm able to say so, without sounding too pompous. My student, Wencheng Lu, who I think will go on to do great things, he managed to figure out that there was a way to remove the scratches on the DVD and reset the age of a highly complex tissue in the mouse, which is the eyeball. And so we took some mice, we gave them glaucoma, which is one of the leading causes of blindness, or we just let them grow old naturally. And then we gave them this gene therapy, these 3 genes that are normally turned on when mice and we are very, very young, even in utero. And what happened was remarkable. The cells went back in age. Their scratches, their epigenetic clock went in reverse. And the mice got their eyesight back. And in the case of glaucoma, we've now improved on the method. They get their eyesight back fully, as though they were young and not untreated, undamaged. And then in the old age, their eyesight came back fully as well.
Sinclair's lab has done some amazing work fixing these issues in mice, but it did so through genetic engineering, followed by turning the genes back on later. This is convoluted and impractical for day-to-day use, but does show the actual concept works. Blind mice can see again, and mice can be granted a 9% longer lifespan. Amazingly, we can do this ourselves, and we can do it in a very simple manner by doing some fasting. Oncologist Dr. Walter Longo has shown that fasting mice can trigger them to regenerate their ability to create insulin, and this is achieved by stimulating one of these Yamanaka factors. It's also been shown that fasting can stimulate another of these factors, and this can stave off cellular senescence and vascular stem cells. Since all stem cells share these mechanisms, we should also see similar results for muscle cells, skin cells, and even for brain cells. And indeed, we do see stem cell release in the brain from fasting. Fasting releases BDNF, that is brain-derived neurotrophin factor, and this is crucial not only to neuronal stem cell health, but also to their activation in the hippocampus. This may seem like a very limited scope of stem cell regeneration, but in fact this is where virtually all neurons are created. That makes sense because it is the hippocampus that stores our memories, and also the internal memory state of neurons as well. So it may be that it simply needs to happen here in order to give them all the information they need. From there, the neurons migrate to other areas of the brain, the heart, or even the nose. This is why fasting can help not only with brain function, but even to regain your lost sense of smell after an injury or illness. And it can also restore your hearing. And if it can regenerate your neurons, it can regenerate anything else in the body much more easily.
So what you're saying is, I'm indestructible. Indestructible.
One of the studies Sinclair's lab performed used 3 of the 5 factors plus TET1 and TET2, which are sirtuin activating genes, to partially restore the sight of blinded mice. Optic nerves are particularly difficult to regenerate, so this is a very exciting finding. The first factor, OCT4, is related to the stemness of a cell, whether it has the ability to differentiate or not. This is important for stem cells in particular, but it has other functions too. It is upregulated in the presence of BHB ketones, the main type of ketone that people test for with ketone strips. So a keto diet can upregulate this one, and since exercise can release ketones, so can certain forms of exercise, especially long bouts of endurance cardio at a moderate pace. As you can imagine though, fasting will create far more ketones than anything else you can do. This is no doubt part of the mechanism by which fasting increases stem cell stemness and allows the brain and other parts of the body to release stem cells. The next Yamanaka factor, SOX2, is also related to stemness, but also plays a role in the migration of new neurons to their proper position in the brain. This happens throughout our lives, but it slows down dramatically as an adult. However, fasting can greatly upregulate BDNF and NGF, nerve growth factor, which will increase the activity of neuronal and nerve growth and migration. Fasting also upregulates SOX2, and that's absolutely vital for the neurons to actually go to the proper place and perform their proper functions, and this includes in the heart, the ears, the eyes, and so on. The third factor is KLF4. This factor is also needed in viable stem cells, but it has many functions in the body, including proper apoptosis and tumor suppression. This factor is also upregulated by fasting, and it's just one of the many ways that fasting helps to suppress cancer. The fourth and fifth, MYC and NANOG, are essentially growth factors, and they're downregulated during the fast, but then upregulated at the end of the fast. And that makes sense, as that will help your body to create new cells to replace any that are lost during the fast or before the fast. And this is going to have a great deal of power in regenerating your organs. This also plays a factor in the tumor suppression effect during fasting. Tumor growth is greatly slowed, while at the same time the immune system is strongly activated, and only the immune system can truly clear cancerous cells out of the body. In addition to these factors, Sinclair's lab also used TET1 and TET2, which are sirtuin activators for the SIRT1 and SIRT6 genes. Do you know what else activates SIRT1 and SIRT6? You guessed it, fasting. So if you want these Yamanaka factors to work for you, fasting is the cheapest, and in fact the only way to do it at all so far, at home anyway. Fasting also activates both SIRT1 and SIRT6 genetic repair pathways, which can remove genetic damage from the nucleus of the cell. This purpose is why NMN is so heavily promoted, but fasting is probably the best way to activate these sirtuins. In fact, I'd say that this is the most promising life extension method around, period. Not just fasting, but stem cell rejuvenation in general. Even so, I wouldn't expect to break the normal lifespan and live to be 180 years old, regardless of what some seem to think is possible. If mice lived 9% longer, I would divide that factor by about 10. So maybe we'd live about 1% longer by fixing this particular issue. On the other hand, fasting has many mechanisms of action, so maybe we should expect more.
Right behind those doors is the salvage of a lifetime.
Everything.
What? Report.
Everything behind that door.
Everything.
Sensor detects everything you could possibly want.